Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, Today the Hungry Gamer is back with the final monthly menu for 2023, and what I do with the final one is, rather than just talk about December, I actually talk about the entire year. So this is actually the top 5 most played games of 2023 for me. Now, a reminder for those of you that don't know, the way I judge a play is, well, one, I have to record it, which I probably only do about 85% of the time. I have the Board Game Stats app, but probably 85% of the time I actually remember to do it. But I have to have recorded it, and I count sessions where I've sat down to play. So if I sit down and play 3 games in a row of a quick game, that counts the same as sitting down and playing 1 game of a 2 or 3 hour game. I try to kind of balance it out that way. It's not perfect, but that's just kind of how I do it. And for this year, so you have some kind of perspective, and keep in mind these numbers are probably about 15% low. I had 449 different game sessions, and that includes in-person and also digital games, but I only include digital games when we played it live, as it were, not asynchronous play. We actually sat there, we got on Discord, and we actually played all the way through. So 449 sessions and 212 different games. So, with all of that, let's jump right into number 5. Number 5 on the list is Coloma. And you probably are aware that Coloma is one I like a lot. I think it might be Johnny Pack's best game. And keep in mind, Merchant's Cove was my game of the year in 2022. So that says a lot about this game. I love that you can play high player counts, I love the busting mechanic, but what really has me jazzed up, what really got it to the table a lot, is getting to play with the new content. I have prototypes of the expansion content, or some of the expansion content that funded on GameFound, and I had the privilege of being able to design the solo mode. Now, I created the solo mode, and then Johnny Pack, he looked at it and he developed it a little bit. So it's not just me, but my name's on the inside of the cover next to solo design. But I did have the pleasure and honor of being able to do that. So because of all those things, I played the game quite a bit, and it's still a great game. I think it's way better now with the expansion stuff, and it's a game that I already liked a lot. So Coloma comes in at number 5 for me. Number 4 is one that I backed on Kickstarter at the very end of 2022, and that is called Dungeon Pages. And I backed the weekly adventure, and this is kind of a Sudoku style, but you're chucking dice and putting the numbers next to each other and kind of moving around the board. And each game you have a different hero that has different abilities, that has different ways to level up and different abilities and a different dungeon. And you're trying to work your way through these 3 maps and trying to win the dungeon. And then each week he sent a new one. There's also a core base game, and I played the heck out of this at the beginning of the year. And I probably played through it for the first quarter of the year weekly, or just about. I just fell off a little bit, and I actually need to go and print out the rest of the different heroes and put them in my little dry erase book that I made. But a very, very clever game. It was a very, very good purchase for me. Very clever. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG, I think, something like that. Very, very clever, very quick. Takes me 5-10 minutes to play a game. Very clever. Number 3 on the list was Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber, and I think this game has been on the list every single year that I've done this. And it's just a fantastic hidden roll, fast, little bit of deduction game that is just great. It is just fantastic. It's almost always in my backpack. I almost always have it with me. Love it, love it, love it to death. And I've played it so much that my box is starting to fall apart. That's how much I've played this game. Number 2 on the list is Arena the Contest Tanaris Adventures. And this should not be a surprise because it was one of my top games of the year. And this is one that is the fully co-op, massive story follow-up to Arena the Contest. And I liked Arena the Contest. Arena the Contest, if you recall, was, I think, my number 6 dungeon crawler back when I did the first list, I think, in 2021. And it's a very good game, but Tanaris Adventures really upped it to a level that I think is just really, really fun. Just fantastic. It's finished number 5 this year for me as Game of the Year. It's just really good. And this is one that you're probably going to see on this list again in the future, because the way this game works is you have kind of 2 phases. You play this kind of city building game, and then you play your dungeon crawl, and then a city building game. And it plays in what's called weeks. But for me, it actually winds up being about a week when I take it out, it means it's going to be on the table for a week while I play through the 4 different quests in the city phase and the world phase. And so, because of that, as I'm slowly working through it, it's going to come back to the table more and more. So you're probably going to see this one again next year in at least a couple of the monthly menus. Very clever game. And then number 1, and this one is a little bit bittersweet for me, because this is a game that was my number 1 dungeon crawler when I first did my list, and was my number 3 dungeon crawler when I just redid my list, and that is Wander the Cult of Barnacle Bay. And it's probably the last, it's bittersweet because it's probably the last time it's going to be on the monthly menu, because though I'm not getting rid of it, and I will certainly play it again in the future, it'll just be one-offs. And that's because I've now finished the entire campaign for the 3rd time. I played it once through on the channel. I half recommend going to check it out because I was just learning how to do playthroughs, and I think it was like 2/3 of the way through that I finally got the horizontal arm. But I played it through on the channel. And I played it all the way through with my wife. And then my occasional dungeon crawl group, we got together, and 4 of us, we played through the whole thing again, and we had a blast. This is one of the, bar none, the best light dungeon crawlers out there. I love everything about it. But don't worry, because Wander LeCluck's Revenge, the standalone follow-up Ghost Pirates, is coming sometime this year, and I will certainly be playing that. And I'm actually in discussion with the publisher to maybe do the whole campaign on the channel as a somewhat sponsored thing. And if that happens, obviously you'll see it. But I love the system, I love the game, and I will probably keep buying it as they release more and more of it. My shelf space be damned. But there you have it, folks. That is my top 5 most played games of 2023. And this is the part of the video where I say thank you so much to all my channel members. You can see their names going across the bottom right now. And while I would still do this without your support, because I did it before I had your support, right? It helps me so much. My new sound equipment I adore. I'm still working it out so it's the best it can be, but sounds already better on playthroughs. I have a new ability to play with more characters when I do playthroughs. So my Kinfire Chronicles has jumped up to 3 characters instead of just 2 because I'm able to have more space because of the new sound equipment. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be able to do 2-player playthroughs with better sound, maybe even 3-player playthroughs. I think I have a way to do that. Thank you all so very much for that. You also have helped me pick up a couple of games that people have requested that I actually cover and talk about. One of them being Ghost Stories, which, now to be fair, I was super excited about Ghost Stories anyway, but a couple of people asked me about it, asked me if I played it, were interested in seeing it, so I was able to do that as well. The channel membership, it's as cheap as 99 cents a month up to, I think it's about $10 a month for the top tier. 99 cents a month, you get to see stuff occasionally early. I will sometimes do polls and questions and stuff that will affect what I'm going to do. At the mid-level, which is about $5 a month, you also get access to the mail call video that I do where I talk about games that are coming in, and often we'll talk more about what I'm hesitant about with these games or what my thoughts are, or I don't know what this game is, all those kinds of things. And then coming at the very top tier, I will play monthly games with you on whatever digital platform you want, Sovereignty, BGA, Tabletop, Simulator, Tabletopia, whatever. Happy to do it, or if you happen to be local, we'll do it in person. But in any event, thank you all so very much. I am not going to be so gauche as I could not do it without you, but without you, it would be significantly harder for me to keep on improving what I am doing as I go through with better equipment and getting to more conventions. I'm going to get to actually go to a couple conventions I might not have been able to go to this year because this is a little bit of extra support that I have is actually helping me get there. So thank you all so very much. For those of you that aren't channel members, you probably stopped watching by now, but thank you for being a subscriber and for watching and being here. It is actually equally important, and I certainly appreciate you just as much. So there you have it, folks. That is the most played games for me of 2023. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what your most played games of the year were. I'm always curious to know. And as always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.